Hello, I'm Gamepass Ghost, and welcome one and all to Gamepass Gems, a hopefully weekly show offering insight into some of the best and brightest new titles on Xbox Game Pass, as well as some taste breaks and titles you may not usually download. So feel free to give me a shout with your favorite titles and indie games you want to see looked at. But I digress. I'm here to tell you why you should be excited for Slime Rancher 2 later this year, and why if you haven't yet, you really should give this wacky adventure a go. In a break from a traditionally male-driven perspective, we step into the space boots of seasoned space explorer and what I can only assume is possibly competent slime rancher, Beatrix Lebeau. Estranged from her lover, we find out more about her through email in an adorably charming story about distance and duty. That said, story-wise there's not a ton, though what story there is far more than enough to keep you entertained long past the end of unlocking everything available to you. What it lacks in story, however, it makes up for with cohesion. All the game's systems are connected and there's no glaring holes in the matrix to take you out of the experience. Excellently crafted AI do their job perfectly. The variety of slimes grows with your exploration, leaving you with more and more valuable plots available for you to sell back to the market. Apparently, slime plots have hundreds of potential uses in our known universe, and the more you collect, the more upgrades to your ranch you can unlock and afford. Feeling lonely as I mentioned earlier? Put in some elbow grease, finish a couple of trades, and you might be lucky enough to score yourself an invite to the manor, the workshop, or go hunting for treasure and find the missing Ogden Ortiz retreat. One wonderful thing about Slime Rancher is that you can visit areas that traditionally would be hidden behind the one lock I personally hate to open, the dollar bill lock. Added in a series of updates, there's plenty to keep you coming back beyond the original launch material, most all of which is free with Game Pass. On a personal note, I found this game at a point in my life when I was struggling with my mental health, heavily with depression and OCD, and it helped bring some joy back into my life as I played it with my partner, helping to grow my understanding of what was controllable versus insurmountable when presented with so many tasks helped me vastly in my day-to-day. It's part of a series of documents I'm working on regarding mental health, gaming, and the future of the industry, and I think it serves as a beautiful piece of art created by our highly unique studio. It is undoubtedly worthy of the time it takes to download it on Game Pass. When you've tried it and come back here to thank me, be sure to drop your favorite slime below. For me, it's a toss-up between the crystal slimes and the pond slimes. I recommend you try this game for a taste breaker after a hefty game undertaking. Recently, a lot of people have been revisiting the Mass Effect Remastered trilogy as part of saying goodbye to an older generation console, which is excellent, but also a very large emotional and time investment. Coming off the backs of these games can leave you loath to start a new undertaking. This charming short title will have you in and out in under 10 hours if you push it, but you shouldn't. I'm past the 30-hour mark now, and I'm not looking back. It's been brilliant. Overall, the gameplay of Slime Rancher is built perfectly for the narrative of the game. As you become a more accomplished Slime Rancher, your options become more numerous. Whether that leads to you becoming Beatrix Lebeau, Slime Raider, or becoming the kind of person that resurrects Frankenslimes is up to you, but the latter is a valid pursuit. Scientific operations become available as you escalate your ranching effort from local animal populace decimated to open drilling operation. As more time passes, your options for extrajudicially decimating the planet of all resources grows exponentially. One of the more fun upgrades later on is access to the jetpack and its various upgrades. This really opens up the game and allows you to see the beauty of the ever-changing but static map. Beyond the jetpack, your need for self-defense is going to become more apparent as nighttime draws near. Slimes may consume leavings of the prior slimes and develop a hunger for it. Be wary as the planet not only naturally creates tar slimes as an effective warning early doors, but you can learn the folly of all great scientists by creating them yourself by combining too many. At desperate moments such as these, all you can really do is grab your water attachment and blast them away. Failing this, it's the gremlin's solution. Grab, drop, and punt them into the open sea. Something makes me think Doomguy would make a killing retiring doing this. Finally, once you've studied your herd, you're going to need ways of keeping your slimes in line while you're further and further away from the ranch. I'm curious to see how many people honed in on creating slime-focused ranches rather than extensive fruit or chickadee farms, as at later levels the auto-feeder will do most of the work for you. The jumping and running in this game is weighted very well, although it can be slow to recharge when you start out. As you progress through the game, your energy and health can be improved, but until a fair way through the game, health isn't a major driver. Energy in the early game can be very frustrating, however, so prioritize. The physics for the cannon are excellent and beautifully animated. I personally love trying to push the range I can fire plots into the exchange. Yeah, I'm almost automatic from the 3-point range now. Mechanically, what may be the greatest achievement in this game, however, may be the plot exchange itself. With rising and lowering costs, it is further proof of Monomi Park's commitment to spreading the variety of things you harvest and experience as you plateau very quickly here. Aside from all the jokes made earlier on in this video, this game itself is an almost flawless concept piece with more and more relevance as our billionaires jet out to the stars, and there are days that I'd definitely rather play this than Mass Effect Andromeda. I know, Javik is shocked. I could continue to rave about how this is what quality analysts should benchmark this type of title against, but I don't know what we call the genre. As an example of a small producer taking what they do, honing in on one aspect and doing it to perfection, this is very close. Whilst the base gameplay of retrieve, crossbreed, sell, clear, repeat is simple enough, it never really gets old. I think a lot of this is down to the art style. The attacks of the slimes are mostly what we've seen elsewhere, but they're so individual, it seems new every flock you rear. I think the most important thing to keep in mind as we play games is the benchmark we level our expectations against. Gaming has hit a lull in the current world, with a large quantity of new, similarly themed titles and quality analysis that is potentially not evolving as quickly as our ability to create beautiful environments. We've seen massive game wars with lackluster pacing or boring areas, but without constant review, how are we to know what works and what doesn't? Monomi Park really pushed the envelope and proved what they can do, and I hope this reaches at least a handful of people and convinces them to give it a go. My partner loved the slimes in this game, and I loved the way it felt like State of Decay, where every time I left my base I wasn't sure what it would look like when I came back. Recently I found myself following the trends in gaming, and found myself playing Katamari Damacy Reroll, just kind of to play a game I missed when I was younger, but it helped me try to see where the business we all know and love might be headed. Whilst I had a great time, wrapping my head around the controls was tough. Slime Rancher is definitely more intuitive, but gives me the same nostalgic feelings. One way it felt similar was in the invisible time pressure of trying to clear everything up on your ranch once everything has gone wrong. I keep coming back to this, but I really can't overstate how impossible it is to get these slimes back into their cages, and sometimes even then, they're post the original stage of transformation. This will mess up everything inside your corrals, and will leave you scrambling, in a way that is definitely reminiscent of that last 20-second stretch before the king of the cosmos comes to sweep you back away for another piano lesson, or to walk his dog, or whatever else it just happens to be that day. Overall though, I found this to be a charming, sweet title that took my mind off of the stresses of the everyday world we're currently living in. In terms of color palette, one could point to Pixar or Minecraft as clear influences. The Badlands are fantastically reminiscent in terms of color scheme and explorative nature. As you transition through areas, the locales change quickly in front of your eyes, just like in the two aforementioned titles. But lastly, I'll make another interesting parallel that perhaps a few of the deep cut fans will recognize. Dragon Quest deserves a spot on this list just solely for being the game that features slimes in their heaviest quotient. From companions to pets to base level enemies, that was the game that really introduced slimes in the iteration we know them today. So if you've got a hankering for more of these fun little orb-shaped creatures, possibly go and try out Dragon Quest Builders, which at last check was still available on Gamepass. That's all for today, folks. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and perhaps I'll make more of these videos powering into your headphones while I play ridiculous games. Thanks all.